Today's reading is going to be all about the month ahead that you are about to experience. So if you want to know what is the general topic or focus point for the next month for you, any challenges that may come up, any positive surprises or events that you may encounter, and much, much more, then stay tuned. As always, we begin with choosing the pile for you. So we have 3 piles to choose from, and they go as such. This card represents pile number 1. This card represents pile number 2. And this card represents pile number 3. If you already know exactly which pile or which card is calling out to you, then you can go into the description box down below, click on the timestamp that you need, and jump straight to your messages. But if you are new to this, or you are simply not sure what the best way would be to go about choosing the right pile, then what I would recommend is first trying to calm yourself down as much as possible. Take a few deep breaths. You can also close your eyes for a bit if that helps to tune everything out and really focus on the present moment, focus on your body, focus on your breathing. When you open your eyes again and look at the piles, see what is coming up for you. Is there something that you feel intuitively? Maybe there is a nudge or some sort of physical sensation when you look at a pile. Maybe your eye is drawn to a specific symbol, a color, anything. Maybe you hear something in your mind's eye. Just whatever sort of way your intuition speaks to you, trust that voice and follow it. But as I also always say, please don't forget to use your discernment as you are listening to these general messages. And without further ado, let's jump into it. Hello and welcome to your reading, pile number 1. My name is Helen and I am so happy that you have chosen to watch this reading and spend your time with me. And I also want to say a quick thank you if you have been following my readings, if you have decided to subscribe and like any of my readings, leave comments, all of that. It really means so much to me. So thank you so much if you have been doing that. But anyway, let's get straight to the reading. So we have this prana card that you chose, and I'm going to feel my way through this card intuitively, see what I am picking up on it before we jump into the cards themselves. I'm getting an energy of trying to find your rhythm. This card talks about the importance of breath and the way in which you are breathing and how that translates into your life force and the energy that you exude as well. So I'm getting the sense that some of you may be a bit frantic or a bit stressed, sort of trying to calm yourself down, trying to get yourself back into a normal sort of rhythm. But I am getting a slight anxiousness from this card for some reason. And I'm almost feeling like you may be trying to shelter yourself from the stresses in your life. You know, the way that this woman is enveloped in this bubble or this egg even, and trying to find your center, trying to tune out the things that are stressing you out, that are causing you anxiety. And maybe some of you are dealing with some sort of elimination process as well, or a cleaning out of things, because I'm looking at the butterfly wings here, and I'm also looking at the gemstones or the diamonds or whatever these are on the card here that she seems to be pointing at, where it's like you may be shedding certain aspects of your life, or maybe aspects of you, and trying to filter out the most important things, or the things that you want to nurture and take with you into the future as well. Like what will remain, you know? And I don't know, I'm getting a bit of a flashback. I feel like I've already talked about this sort of energy recently. So I don't know whether that is just some sort of broader continuing sort of energy that is happening here or that you are going through. But if this sounds familiar to you, then you may have watched one of my previous readings where maybe something similar came through. And I just feel like if that's the case, if you recognize this story, like you've heard it before already, then it feels like you are going through this bigger and longer process, this more encompassing process. And it's almost like, you know, it's almost like you are pressurized into a diamond yourself. Like I'm drawn to these like gemstones or jewels again that are on the bottom of this card as well. I'm not sure how well you will be able to see them, but like the way that this bubble is surrounded by these diamonds or by these jewels. And I almost feel like you are being turned into one as well, and it's just a longer process. It's taking a bit of time, and it seems to happen in like these gradual stages where you are shedding things organically. I don't feel like you are in the process of making this big, huge, life-altering shift very quickly. It seems to be this continuing process, and it almost seems to happen in like these little currents, these little waves. So it feels very natural. It doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel unexpected or overwhelming, even though, again, the energy of anxiety or worry or feeling frantic and like you don't quite know what your natural state is right now, because you seem to be in this continuous flow of transformation. But ultimately, I feel like it's something that you seem to be navigating quite well, whether you realize it or not. Because again, I'm also being drawn to the way that her head is like above the thing. I want to say like your head is above water. So it's like you are staying afloat. You are not being submerged by this process, is kind of what I want to say. But anyway, as I said, this is just the intuitive part. This is simply what I'm feeling. And if this is something you are not 100% sold on, then stick around for these oracle card messages too, because these are going to describe what you have experienced recently, what sort of things you have gone through in your recent past. So as you listen to these messages, and if you recognize yourself and your life as it is right now, then it is a very good indication that you are watching the right pile. So let's see. We have You Are Epic, Obelisk. We have an intuitive card. We have Child and Rise. So pile number one, we're going to start off with the card that says You Are Epic. And this is saying that there is some sort of toughening up or taking accountability, becoming more responsible or more hands-on in your life, because this is a number 4 card and it is somewhat tied to the Emperor energy in tarot. And I do feel like there is this coming into yourself more, like that sort of energy that has taken place. And again, I feel like it's not something that necessarily happened overnight. It just feels like this gradual getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And I feel like you have grown in confidence as you have evolved and as you have shared certain things and realized that life is actually easier that way, that life is actually more enjoyable that way, or maybe for some of you it even makes more sense that way. And the reason why I feel like you have definitely let go of something here is because of this obelisk card. This is giving me the feeling that something that used to be sacred to you, or something that used to mean a lot to you, maybe doesn't anymore, or there has been a shift regarding that. And I also say that because of this next card, which feels like some sort of separation from a group mentality, or from a community of some sort, or simply what you used to believe in, what you used to adhere to, what sort of customs you used to practice, or what you used to identify with. Like, there is something about this group of people or community or belief system that you seem to have grown a bit distant from. And I'm looking at all of the faces on these animals, and it's almost like they are so perplexed as they are looking at you. Like, what are you doing? What is going on with you? Like, why aren't you with us anymore? Why are you acting strange? Why aren't you doing the things that we have always done? Why are you talking about these weird things that we don't understand and that we don't believe in? Like, it seems to be that sort of energy here. And so maybe for some of you, these sacred things that you have started to distance yourself from are actually relationships, friendships, some sort of communal ties, maybe even familial ties for some of you. And again, there is this massive individuation that I feel with this You Are Epic energy that seems to be sort of taking up more space in you, in your mind. And it starts to overpower everything else, I feel. So we also have this Child card and the card that says Rise. And I do feel this new beginning, or like innocence and childlike freedom or enthusiasm coming through from both of these cards, which seems to indicate that there is something really pure and something honest and true that has started to rise to the surface within you, that has started to take you closer to your true self. There is some sort of brimming or rising up to the surface of new information, or something really pure. And again, it's interesting how this child is looking towards the group of animals, and how like some of them are looking at this child as well. And there seems to be this not necessarily a clash, but just this like I want to say dissonance. I'm not sure whether that's the right word, but that's the word I keep hearing in my head. There is almost this this looking at each other and recognizing each other for the first time, like seeing each other with clear eyes for the first time is almost what I feel here. And I don't necessarily feel animosity as such, but I do feel like there is this growing sense of, how was I ever a part of you? How was I ever friends with you? How could I ever take part in these things and think that was normal, that was okay? Like, yeah, it's all about this, like this growing separate, or growing more into yourself, and as a result feeling this this gap that starts to become bigger and bigger between you and some of the things that used to exist, and again maybe be really sacred to you. And I feel like that may be the reason why I was feeling this level of anxiety or worry, or like this frantic energy, this frustration maybe even, because it's difficult to feel like you are not identifying with your life anymore, or with certain aspects of your life that have been huge parts of your life maybe. So it takes a lot of guts, it takes a lot of bravery to stand on your own, to really fight for your truth, and be willing to stand apart, be willing to share your voice and rise up, like this card says as well, and say what you really mean, even if you know that it's not going to be well received, or it's going to cause conflict or a potential rift. that is what I'm feeling, pile number one. If you at all recognized these messages as something that you have recently experienced as well, then stay tuned, because now we're going to take a look at the month ahead for you. And we are going to answer several questions. We're going to get into it. So get comfortable, take a drink or a snack if you need it as well. And yeah, let's see what we can find out about the most prominent theme or life area or topic of focus for the next month for you. Okay. We have the Ace of Swords and the Four of Swords. I'm going to point out the zodiac signs that are coming through from these tarot cards as well as we go along. So we have heavy air sign energy coming through. With the Ace of Swords, we have actually all air signs. So Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius could be very significant, specifically Libra because of the Four of Swords here too. Any air sign energy, especially if they are your sun, moon, or rising signs, could be a further confirmation that you are watching the right pile. So the Ace of Swords is a very clear indication that the most important topic or focal point for the next month ahead for you has to do with truth, sharing your voice clearly and confidently, and also just becoming really clear about what the truth even is for you, what you stand by, what sort of belief system you subscribe to. The Ace of Swords and the Four of Swords as well, actually being the cards of air sign energy, are hinting at a very cerebral sort of month for you, meaning there is going to be a lot of focus on your thoughts, on what you come to realize or understand, how you decide to convey that or how you decide to express yourself, what sort of words you are going to use, and just generally communication with other people as a whole. Those keywords seem to be very, very prominent for you in the next month. And with the Ace of Swords, I am feeling a slight standoffish energy as well, which I don't normally feel. But for some reason, I'm feeling like you may come across people taking things the wrong way or having your truth be a bit unpalatable to them. Maybe even trying to confront you, or maybe opposing you, asking you to defend your views or rationalize them, explain them. So with the Ace of Swords, there is this energy of needing to stand firm, needing to not back down from people not liking or reacting badly to your truth. And with the Four of Swords being the underlying energy here, I feel like there is this, again, this energy of making peace with what your truth is. Like the way that this one sword is down here and the three are up here, I feel like there's almost this accepting what is, accepting this new reality, this new understanding that is becoming more and more crystallized for you. So yeah, that is what I am seeing here. But let's move swiftly on to a potential challenge that you may face. Okay. Okay. Wow. Yeah. See, I kind of had a feeling that this may come up because of the energy that I was feeling with the Ace of Swords, this slight like conflict or standoff energy. We have the Page of Swords and we have the Eight of Wands in reverse. The Page of Swords is further air sign energy. So again, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, very significant signs. And the Eight of Wands is Sagittarius. So with the Page of Swords, there seems to be this energy of having to stand up for what you believe in and again, express yourself really clearly. There may be certain adverse reactions or people coming at you because of the way that this Page of Swords is often depicted. They are in this position where they are ready to defend themselves. They are ready for whatever comes their way to hit the opponents with truth and with information, with clarity. And I do feel like it's confirming the whole message of needing to stand by what you say, needing to be very clear about what you say and what you intend to say as well. So choosing your words carefully, especially because of the Page of Swords energy, it is the most defensive and slightly hostile as well of all of the pages. And so I do feel like being careful with how you express yourself, not necessarily like, yes, expressing your truth clearly and confidently, but also being mindful not to spite anyone just to spite them, or not to say anything that is like triggering or controversial just so that you could sort of say what you want to say. So there is this need to consider how what you are saying may come across. And so just being mindful of that. So yeah, the only challenge really that I feel here, especially with the Eight of Wands in reverse as well, is that there may be misunderstandings. There may be certain concepts or ideas or words or conversations that go by the wayside, where what you want to say doesn't land right. It doesn't land accurately, and people misconstrue what you say and maybe take offense. Or again, there is this tedious aspect of emotions or egos being hurt, or something like that I feel. So yeah, just realizing that you may have to sort of stand up for what you say and what you believe in, and maybe have certain tough conversations, but ultimately I feel like you are well prepared to do that. And this Ace of Swords, this level of clarity, this level of knowing and information that you seem to possess, is something that is massively going to help you. Also, this may be more of a specific message, but some of you may receive certain news or hear something that you yourself may not like the sound of. So that is just something that I wanted to put out there as well, but that definitely seems like more of a specific message. So let's now look at a positive surprise or event that you are going to encounter. Okay, we have the Magician and the Sun. Oh, nice. Wow, I cannot believe how many cards of mercurial energy you are getting. So it definitely seems to be a very communicative month for you, a month where you seem to think very heavily about things, and where you seem to make sense of a lot of things as well. But anyway, going back to the zodiac signs, we have Virgo and Gemini coming out with Magician, and we have Leo coming out with the Sun. So with the Magician energy, it feels like a positive event or surprise that you are going to encounter in the next month is one where you feel like everything is falling into place, like everything is exactly as it should be. You seem to be really confident within yourself and within what you believe in. And it almost seems like nothing can really faze you. Nothing can alter the course that you are on. And you seem to have this firm sense of belief that you are doing exactly what you are meant to be doing, and you are exactly where you are meant to be. There could also be certain positive things that you are manifesting, especially with the Sun being the underlying energy. So you may see some results come about that make you really happy, that light you up, that bring you a true sense of joy and fulfillment. It could be as a result of some sort of conversation, or maybe even a speech if you have something that you need to present to people. I'm also feeling potentially more of a specific message, but if any of you are in the teaching profession, or you just have to stand up in front of people, maybe give some lectures, some coaching, be in that sort of position for work, then it seems like it's going to go really well. And I feel like people are going to respect you and look up to you and take what you say seriously. So there is this energy of like shining with your knowledge, shining with your capability, with your skill set, with your know-how. Like that sort of energy really coming through. Yeah, just like winning people's respect. or being taken more seriously. And finally, no, sorry, not finally. We have 2 more questions to go. So let's see who or what is going to support you in this upcoming month. Okay. We have the Emperor in reverse with the Queen of Wands coming out in reverse. We have heavy Aries coming out now. So fire sign energy as well as air sign energy both seem to be prevalent. A lot of masculine energy in general, which by the way doesn't mean that you have to be male yourself. It's just a very sort of self-assured, go-getter, active, determined, that sort of energy. Okay, so both of these cards in their archetypes are really self-reliant, very independent, and do things for themselves. So I don't actually feel that these cards are talking about a specific person who is going to like help you or support you. I also feel like both of these cards are talking about your personal energy, and what is actually going to help you in this next month ahead is becoming a bit softer, or softening the authoritative voice, having a more gentle approach. Again, it seems to tie back into this Page of Swords message that we were talking about as well, where like choosing your words carefully and being mindful of how you express yourself is very, very crucial in the next month ahead for you. And so that's why I feel like both the Emperor and the Queen of Wands are coming out in reverse, because it seems to indicate that what is going to help you is taking the edge off of the fire, or this energy that you are putting out there. And again, it doesn't mean that you should back down or go back on what you say or what you believe in. It's not that at all, because again, both of these cards are still coming out. Both of these energies are still here, which means that it is important to stay true to what you believe in. And it's important to be clear about what is important to you, what you truly feel, what you stand by, what your values are, all of that. But to do it with some kindness, to do it with some consideration, to not lose sight of who you are trying to be, who you are trying to become. And I feel like even though you are in the process of becoming an even stronger individual, one who knows what they want and who they are and is not afraid to share their honest voice, I feel like you also don't want to become a person who alienates everyone around them. So there is this, again, this fine line, this balance between staying true to yourself, expressing your voice with integrity, but also being mindful of the differences, being mindful of the people who may have a hard time adjusting to these transformations that you are going through and this new person that you are becoming. And I want to say new with like air quotes, because it's not that you are becoming a new person, you are evolving and becoming less like filtered, I want to say. But let's look at the final question as well, or the final topic, which is the main takeaway from your next month ahead. So what are you going to be leaving the month with? Wow, that was so quick. Okay, interesting. We have the Empress as the underlying energy now, and this card turned itself around. So we have the Two of Pentacles, which came out in reverse. Sign-wise, we have Capricorn with the Two of Pentacles, and we have Taurus and Libra with the Empress. Okay, so with the Two of Pentacles coming out in reverse, I feel a twofold message here. On the one hand, I feel like it's talking about the decluttering energy that you are doing and getting to this place where you are getting rid of things that are simply making things more difficult, making things more confusing, more time consuming, that are just taking up space, but that are not actually necessary to your well-being. So it's this process of prioritization that you are doing. But on the other hand, I feel like it's also talking about things not having to be either or. With the Empress being the underlying energy, there seems to be this realization that you can embrace certain things that may seem opposing and make use of those anyway. Like it doesn't have to be this black and white. Two things that seem like they don't really go together or like they are opposites can complement each other. They can work at the same time, or they can both exist simultaneously. For some of you, I feel like there may be a shift in your approach that you are going to be arriving at, where instead of cutting things out or getting rid of certain things, you may find a way to like still keep them in your life, but just repurpose them or give them a different sort of meaning. And I know that maybe that message sounds a bit controversial or like, not controversial, sorry, contradictory, but the sort of the end result of the month is going to differ. Where I feel like for some of you, this getting rid of things, this decluttering process is going to continue and lead to more harmony and well-being. And for others of you, I do feel like there is this shift in, rather than like cutting things out, finding a way to integrate certain opposing views or opposing thoughts, or like, yeah, kind of like mixing it up a bit rather than keeping things very black and white or going about things in a very black and white manner. So pile number 1, those were the messages regarding your month ahead, and hopefully they gave you something to consider, some valuable insight. But let's also close the reading out with an oracle card message. And this is going to be Spirit's advice so that you could get the most out of your month ahead. So let's see. Whoa. Okay. Well, we are getting 2. I was planning on getting only 1, but usually with these readings, my plans don't really go as intended. Okay, so we have the Smoking Caterpillar and the King of Hearts. I'm going to start off with the first card here with the Smoking Caterpillar. And this is talking about keeping an open mind and realizing that even if you hear something, even if you are given advice or people just share their opinions, share their own beliefs, and it doesn't make sense to you, or you cannot find value in it at the time, it doesn't mean that you won't be able to use those things to your benefit in the future. Meaning that you may hear something that is actually truly valuable, but it may only become truly applicable to you sometime in the future, down the line. So just keeping an open mind is something that Spirit seems to advocate for here. And we also have the King of Hearts. And this is talking about, again, having a more gentle approach, going about your communication processes and negotiations or whatever sort of communicating you may be doing, going about those with some diplomacy and just trying to use a softer approach in expressing yourself and sort of getting your way or getting your point across. So I just find that really interesting, that the whole notion of softness and not forcing anything, not being too overbearing with your truth, with your ideas, with your thoughts, is something that seems to be very important here. And at the bottom of the deck, we have Too Many Tears, which I feel like is just an indication of using those pieces of advice to your advantage so that you wouldn't end up in a position that actually causes you more issues down the line, or even more like unwanted situations or difficult situations that you have to deal with. Wow, I'm going to leave it here. I really hope that this reading was useful to you, that it gave you something. And if you are still here, by the way, please leave me a little rabbit. I don't know why, but I can't stop looking at the rabbit on this card. So please leave me a little rabbit emoji in the comment section down below so that I would know that you made it all the way to this point, that you watched this thing all the way through, and that it gave you something useful, insightful, or at the very least, something entertaining. So yeah, as always, I hope to see you back on this channel next Friday for some more messages, insight, and fun. But in the meantime, please take care of yourselves. I hope you have an amazing month ahead. Take care. Bye-bye. Hello and welcome to your reading pile number 2. My name is Helen and I am so excited to jump into these messages and see what the next month ahead has in store for you. But yeah, thank you so much for choosing to watch this reading, spend your time with me, and also for any support that you have shown me or this channel, any subscribes, likes, comments, anything like that. I truly appreciate it, and I hope that you find value from these readings. But anyway, let's get straight to it. So before we begin talking about the card that you chose and what I feel intuitively, I just want to say that something that I noticed, which was really weird because it didn't happen for any other pile. As I was preparing the oracle cards for each pile, your cards from every single deck came out in these separate chunks. So it was like the cards flopped out once, and then there was another portion of the cards that like came out afterwards. So it was always in like these 2 stages. And that didn't, as I said, that didn't happen for the other piles. And so I got this sense of like urgency, or like there was some sort of unfinished business. And yeah, I don't know why, but it was really noticeable for some reason, the way that the cards were coming out. And there was something erratic about the energy of your cards. And so as I look at this pranayama card, I do feel like you are having a hard time finding time for yourself, is kind of what I feel. There is so much going on. There is a lot that you seem to be carrying on your shoulders, or it feels like things are kind of either like actually hanging above your head, or like they are weighing on you, on your shoulders. And yeah, you seem to be struggling to find time for you, to carve out space outside of the things that you are constantly dealing with and solving and focusing on, and you know, just giving your attention to things that you are participating in. There seems to be quite a lot of that, and there seem to be a lot of these roles that you have to be or take up. And yeah, this personal time for you, this personal space, it doesn't seem to have that much room in your life at this time. And so yeah, you may feel like you are constantly in a hurry, like you are constantly running around from one place to the next, and you can't seem to catch your breath, which is interesting because this whole card is talking about you catching your breath. Oh my God, have I not even shown you this card? I'm so sorry. I got lost in the energy and just looking at the card, so I do apologize. But anyway, this whole card is talking about the concept of pacing your breath and using that in order to either slow things down or speed things up, and really pay attention to how it is that you are breathing and what sort of gear you are in based on that. Yeah, and the interesting thing is I'm looking at all of the layers on the card, and again, it seems like everything is just stacked on top of one another, and you can't seem to separate things into like, yes, this is important and this is not as important, so I can delegate that to someone else, or I can get rid of it completely, or I don't need to deal with it for the next week or whatever. Like, there doesn't seem to be things that you can just get rid of or postpone or delay or whatever. It feels like it's all important. It feels like it's all something that you have to do. And yeah, so I almost get the sense that you can't really be your own person at this time. And it's just one of those periods in life. And I feel like you find it really difficult to relax, and maybe even, I don't know whether this is more of a specific message, but Maybe some of you are even having a hard time like getting your body and your nervous system to relax, to actually calm down and shut off from everything that has happened during the day. It feels like even though you may be super tired and you may feel like you are so exhausted and drained, but when you go to bed, it's like your mind is still active, your mind is still up, your nervous system is so alert that it's hard for you to switch that off or to tune into this more calm and relaxed space. It's not something that you can sustain for long periods of time, but for the time being, it feels like that's what you were dealing with. Anyway, as I said, this is just the intuitive part, right? So if you are not 100% sure whether this is your pile, then stick around for these oracle card messages, because these are going to talk about what you have experienced recently, the recent past that you have gone through. So as you listen to these messages, hopefully you will be able to make sense much more easily whether this is talking about your life or not. We have sacred mirrors, lock. We have an intuitive card, offerings, and you are magic. Okay, pile number 2. I am actually going to start from the other end of these cards. We have this you are magic, and this is kind of coinciding with the Magician card in Tarot. You are in this ultra active mode. You seem to be making things happen and bringing things about, being in this, being in the control seat, so to say. And the thing is, because you seem to be seeing certain results, I feel like it's difficult for you to stop or to slow down. With this offerings card and the intuitive card here, you are so invested in the process. And again, I love how this intuitive card is depicted, because you can actually see the thing that you have nurtured and that you have taken care of, that you have waited for such a long time. You can see that starting to grow, starting to show signs of progress and development. And clearly, whatever this plant symbolizes in your life specifically, this thing is something that you have endured so much for. And I feel like now that you have finally started seeing some results, it's really difficult to pull back a bit, to give it space, to give it time, to allow things to unfold naturally, right? Because I feel like you are so used to being in that driver's seat. You are so used to having your hands on the wheel and controlling the whole situation and controlling the whole process, that you seem to have forgotten that certain things happen by their own accord. Certain things you can't really control. And when you try to, you may actually end up doing more harm than good. And so that's what I feel is kind of happening here somewhat. I'm not saying that you are damaging the progress in any way. I feel like the damage that you are doing is actually much more to yourself. And again, I find it so interesting how this little boy or this figure is starting to get swept up in it. They are starting to put themselves in a precarious situation here. And the thing here is, we also have this lock card that is coming out right next to it, which seems to indicate that you seem to be finding yourself in a position where you are somewhat restricted now, or where it is difficult to make changes or to get yourself out of this situation or this position where you are under all of this stress and all of this responsibility and everything like that. But I also feel like it's not too late, you know, even though it may be difficult and even though it may demand some workings around, it can be done. And I almost want to say that whatever this thing is, again, even though it seems to work, even though you seem to be seeing some sort of rewards or results or progress, there are some unintended consequences that have come about. and that you couldn't have foreseen. That seemed to be dampening this whole process. But I feel like you are in this position where it's like getting more and more difficult to step away. And I mean, we have the Sacred Mirrors card here too, and maybe this is talking about certain people as well that have told you maybe that have warned you, or maybe that have just shared their opinion that you may be pushing things a bit too far, or that things are starting to get out of balance. So that may be coming through in the form of people who are close to you actually being worried and talking to you, expressing their concerns, all of that. But it may also be in the form of you starting to see certain signs where I almost want to say that you may be seeing that you are on a train that is going along the tracks like full speed ahead, but it's not actually going towards the destination that you had in mind, but it's like it has such speed. It is going down that path so quickly that it's really difficult to stop. Like that image is what I am feeling from all of these cards. That's the energy that seems to be coming through here. I don't know how much sense all of that just made to you, but that is really what I'm feeling here. That is something that seems to be coming out as the energy that you are dealing with right now, and that has led you to this space that you are in right now. And as the last thing, I just want to say that for some of you, this thing that you are now so invested in that you find it difficult to step out of it, it may have been something that was actually offered to you, something that was presented to you, and it may have been a real honor, like especially if this is a career type thing or a work thing. It may have been a real honor to be offered this opportunity or this project or this product or whatever. But yeah, again, it's like this thing came with unintended consequences. Anyway, as I said, if this whole thing made sense to you, then definitely stay tuned, because we are now going to get into the tarot card portion, and we are going to look at your month ahead. We're going to start off with the most prominent theme or life area or topic that is going to be in focus for you for the next month. Okay. Wow, we have the Page of Wands in reverse with the Ace of Cups. I'm going to point out the zodiac signs as well as they come out, so that if you recognize those signs in your own birth chart, specifically if you have significant placements in those signs, like your sun sign, moon sign, or rising sign, then it may be further confirmation that you are watching the right pile. So we have heavy fire sign energy coming out with the Page of Wands. That would be Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. But we also have water sign energy coming out, and those would be Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. But most significantly, focus on the fire signs. Okay, so I am not in the least surprised by these cards coming out, because it makes a whole lot of sense after what we were just talking about. We have the Page of Wands coming out in reverse as the main focal point of your month ahead. And this seems to indicate the need to slow down. So I do feel that the most prominent theme for you is going to be one of starting to say no to certain things that are taking up way too much of your energy. And especially, I feel like it's tied to things. Maybe it's simply tactics or new ideas or new methods that are somehow tied to this thing that you are doing, but that don't maybe lead anywhere, that are, just simply things that take up even more of your time, even more of your energy, even more of your life force. There is this focus on prioritizing self-care, prioritizing your own well-being. And I find it really funny that we are getting the Ace of Cups, which does talk about your own sort of emotional fulfillment, but it can also talk about just like well-being in general, good health as well. For some reason, I'm feeling that. We're getting this Ace of Cups, which is so very personal, and very much tied to what we are going through internally, versus the wands, the page of wands, or just the wand suit in general, which is talking about the energy that we put out, the energy that we turn into action, right? So it's much more of this outward directed or outwardly directed energy. And I find it really interesting that we are getting this contrast here. And again, it makes a lot of sense that the next month is going to be focused around taking it down a notch, slowing the process down a bit, starting to focus more on how you actually feel, what your physical body, what your vessel is telling you. And I feel like you are going to be put in a position where you sort of have to listen to it more, where you have to honor it more, instead of just following the whims or the demands or the new ideas that you are presented with, the projects that you are presented with, and all of that. Especially because with the Page of Wands, it does feel like some of the things that people are presenting you with, or that you are having to consider, I feel like a lot of those things are futile, or they don't actually take you to any real meaningful results. So it more so feels like a distraction or a waste of time more than anything. And even though, yes, I mean, you can learn from every experience that you have, and you can find meaning in every experience that you have. But honestly, especially in this position that you are in right now, where you don't have that many resources to share to begin with, I feel like it's important to prioritize. Now let's also look at a challenge that you may be facing in the next month. Okay, I feel like this one. We have the Six of Swords and the Four of Wands, so more fire sign energy. The Six of Swords is a card of Aquarius, and the Four of Wands is a card of Aries. With the Six of Swords, it's a clear message that a challenge that you are going to face is one that has to do with sort of walking away or leaving behind this very fast-paced, very frantic energy that you seem to be operating in. And I feel like with the Four of Wands here, it seems to be coming from the people that you are surrounded with, or the environment that you are in. There seems to be this culture or this atmosphere which is fostering that sort of energy. Because the Four of Wands seems so warm and so inviting. Usually it's a really positive card, but in this context, for some reason, I'm feeling like there is a falseness about the Four of Wands, or almost this manipulation, this manipulative energy where you seem to be lured or drawn in with some of these like promises or pretty words, or like something that seems to be promised to you, this beautiful picture that I feel like someone is painting for you of what you are doing all of this for, and it seems like they're trying to entice you into spending more time in that energy that is so overwhelming to you, that isn't actually good for you, that you need to step away from. And I feel like with the Six of Swords, that's exactly what you were trying to do, right? That's the energy of moving away and moving towards a calmer space. But I feel like the challenge is going to arise from saying no to the pretty words, the compliments, the enticing, all of that seems to be coming from the people who actually have the most to gain from what it is that you are working so hard to bring about. I feel like there is someone else's interests that are at play here, and as you seem to be focusing on your own well-being and restoring your health, restoring your sanity, I even want to say, it may be really difficult to actually do that, or that the challenge may arise from you trying to do that. I feel like this Four of Wands is especially dangerous because it's not like people are going to lash out at you. It's not like they are going to oppose you or put you down or create this conflict for you. They are going to try to talk you out of this move that is actually right for you by using sweetness and all of these manipulative tactics that can be so hard to resist. And that's what I feel like is the biggest danger here. And obviously, ultimately, this is up to you. It's up to you to decide whether you want to prioritize yourself and put yourself first and your own well-being first and say no to what you are being asked to do or what you are being persuaded with, or whether you want to say yes, whether you want to keep doing what you were doing. Like, ultimately, all of this is up to you. I'm just giving you the messages that are coming through from these cards, and they all seem to point at one direction. But again, this is simply potential, right? So ultimately, what you choose to do is what matters. But again, looking at the challenge part, that is most likely going to be the most challenging thing for you, because I feel like you are going to want to help those people out. You are going to want to say yes, even if you feel like you don't have it in you. So let's now take a look at the positive surprise or event that you're going to experience in the upcoming month. Whoa, that was really quick. We have the Seven of Cups that came out in reverse with the Six of Pentacles that also came out in reverse. Zodiac sign wise, we have Scorpio with the Seven of Cups and Taurus with the Six of Pentacles. I don't know why this message is coming through, but I have to give it. So with the Seven of Cups, actually I'm just gonna use both of these cards together because this feels like a very unified message to me. The positive surprise that you are going to experience is one of actually seeing the truth, where I feel like the mask is going to fall off. Maybe from a specific individual, but it may be even multiple people, or maybe just the whole situation itself, if it's not anyone specific. So the Seven of Cups in reverse seems to indicate a clarity of sorts, where the bubble is burst, the illusion is broken down. And the Six of Pentacles in reverse seems to talk about the true intentions behind someone's actions, or how something is maybe much more self-serving or not quite what is being depicted here. And again, because of the Six of Pentacles specifically, it seems to be like goodwill or charity or help, or just good intentions that are being masked by, like, okay, no, that didn't come out right. So it basically, like, this goodwill and these good intentions that someone is presenting to you, there is something else entirely that is behind those actions and behind those words. And I feel like you are going to see that. You are going to realize something. You're going to see the true colors of something, or even, like, I want to say the rigged way that something is being done. And I feel like it's, even though, again, as I said, it feels really strange that this message is coming through, because it doesn't sound like a typical positive message, right? Or like, it doesn't sound like a typical positive surprise or event that you would expect. It's actually a huge blessing, because it sets you free, because it gives you the gift of truth and the gift of clarity. And as a result of it, I feel like you can make much better choices for yourself. So that is what is coming out from there. But let's now look at who or what is going to support you. Okay, this is so interesting. Wow. We have the Emperor and the World. So Aries is coming out now with the Emperor, and both Capricorn and Aquarius are coming out with the World. I feel that this Emperor is actually symbolizing a specific person, and this Emperor person seems to be someone who is in charge, someone who has authority, someone who has power, someone who has say-so in how matters are done. And they seem to be a natural born leader type person. They don't have to be specifically like your boss or in a managerial position, like in that sense. They can just be someone that you respect, someone that you look up to, someone who maybe has people that they are responsible for in whatever capacity that is. There is a strong figure or a very strong individual in your life that may help you in making those tough decisions, or like almost setting you straight, I want to say. With the underlying energy being the world here, I kind of feel like they are going to help you to take the necessary steps, or to almost like push you through the portal so that you could do what is right for you. Or, you know, maybe for some of you, you need to close something out very literally. Maybe for some of you, you just need to make a decision of some kind that is going to change the process that you have been in up to this point. Maybe for some of you, this World card is simply further confirmation that this Emperor person, this person who is going to give you solid advice and who's going to support you, is someone who has gone through something similar in the past, or who has gone through a lot in their own past, who knows what you are going through. So yeah, I'm feeling different energies from the world here, but ultimately there is someone who is really wise and knowledgeable, who has some sort of personal life experience that they can share with you that feels like is really helpful, and I feel like they can give you some confidence or some encouragement in the steps that you need to make for you. And yeah, let's finally look at the main takeaway from your next month. So what is it that you are going to leave this next month with? Okay. Wow, we have the Seven of Swords, which again came out rather quickly. And we also have the Page of Pentacles as the underlying energy. Seven of Swords is more Aquarian energy, and the Page of Pentacles is Earth sign energy. So the Seven of Swords is saying that this month is going to give you the realization or the understanding of some of the things that you have been presented with that haven't been fully true, or fully truthful, I should say. Especially with the Page of Pentacles being the underlying energy, you seem to be learning quite a lot. The main takeaway that you are taking from this next month is one of having learned something valuable, having made a discovery of sorts that you can actually use to your advantage, so that you can change your method, you can change your approach, and potentially invest your energy, invest your resources, invest your know-how into something else, something that makes more sense to you, something that would reap you more benefits. And with the Seven of Swords, even though the card has a bad rap, it's usually tied to lying and deceit or thievery or something like that. It can also talk about changing tactics, being strategic, and again, kind of thinking outside of the box in how you go about things, or how you approach a difficult situation. And I do feel that, again, you may actually decide to change your tactic. You may leave the month deciding to try a different approach, try something that you maybe didn't think of before. And especially the Page of Pentacles, I love that we're getting this page energy again, because it is indicating that there is a new way of thinking about something and putting that idea into practice, trying it out, seeing what happens. So it's kind of innocent, it's kind of low risk, it's a manageable baby step. So yeah, I don't know. I have been loving the energy of the pages recently, and I definitely feel that for you as well, pile number 2. But those were the messages that we got for the month ahead for you. We are going to close the reading out with a last oracle card message from Spirit, and this is going to be Spirit's advice to you so that you could make the most out of your next month. So let's see. Whoa. Okay, we have the Mock Turtle, and the underlying energy is a queer looking party. Okay, so with the Mock Turtle, Spirit's advice to you is one of like allowing your emotions to flow through you, acknowledging them, but not allowing them to overwhelm you, to get stuck in whatever your emotions are. So if you need to feel the sadness, if you need to feel regret, if you need to let something out of you, then it's okay, but also be mindful not to get stuck in it, not to start wallowing in those more heavy negative feelings, and realizing that you can still turn things around even if the solution is somewhat obscure, or even if it doesn't come to you straight away, especially because the underlying energy is this a queer looking party, which is saying that the solution that you may be looking for is something that you can't obviously see at first glance. It could be something more unorthodox, something that doesn't make sense straight away. And so it kind of coincides with the Seven of Swords message here too, where the solution to your problem, it may be more outside the box. It may be something that isn't apparent from the get-go, right? It may be something that you have to sort of get to. It may be a journey to get to it. But looking at these cards, it's a very good indication that you are going to get that. You are going to see the way out, even if it isn't apparent to you right now. So stay open-minded, stay flexible and adaptable, and give things time and give yourself time. And yeah, you are going to get there. You're going to see what you need to do. So hopefully, pile number 2, you found these messages useful. You got something from them. I truly, truly hope that's the case. If you are still here, by the way, if you managed to watch this thing all the way through and you had fun listening to these messages, or they gave you something useful, please leave me a watering can emoji down in the comment section. I hope that one exists. So yeah, leave that in the comment section down below. And so I would know that you made it all the way to this point. As always, I hope to see you back on this channel next Friday for some more messages, more insight and fun. But in the meantime, please take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful month ahead and be kind to yourself. Bye-bye. Hello and welcome to your reading, pile number 3. My name is Helen and I am very, very happy that you are here, that you chose to spend your time with me to watch this reading. So thank you so much for being here, and also thank you for any support that you have shown me or this channel. I truly appreciate it. And anyway, let's get straight to the card that you chose. I'm going to feel my way through it intuitively and see what I am picking up on it. Pile number 3, I am actually getting high priestessy sort of energy off of this card. This card is actually talking about a deity of space and infinite possibilities. But I'm feeling this, the sense of like calm and mystery. Like it almost seems like you are in this space where you are thinking about more of these big topics, these mysteries of life. You may be going in deep with certain questions, certain topics. I feel like you are doing a lot of introspection, but I also feel like you are simply thinking about things. And I know it sounds so kind of commonplace because we are constantly thinking about things, but the sort of thinking that I feel that you are doing is much more philosophical. It seems to be trying to come to certain understandings or have certain breakthroughs, have certain aha moments. I feel like you are also finding time to put things on hold, to pause things, to pause the mundane day-to-day life. Maybe some of you are just recently discovering meditation for yourself, or scrying, or doing like dream journaling or something like that, where you may be trying to connect more to nature and to something bigger than yourself, and And I feel like all of that has given you this level of peace that you seem to be cherishing, or you seem to be starting to put more focus on that feeling, connecting to that feeling, rather than just, running around and doing life only in the mundane sense. And I feel like for a lot of you, you have gotten to this place now because you started asking yourself at one point, like, what am I doing all of this for? Why am I running around? Why am I spreading myself thin? What is the point of all of this? And so, yeah, I just feel like you are trying to get to some bigger truths. And maybe some of you have simply gone through something that changed the life as you knew it. And so now you are in a position where you have to find a new place for yourself and figure out where you belong in this new reality. So yeah, that is the energy that I'm feeling off of this card. But as I said, this is simply the intuitive part. So if you are not 100% sure that this is your pile, then stick around for the oracle cards as well, because these are going to describe what it is that you have been experiencing recently, what sort of things you have gone through in your recent past. So you should be able to recognize yourself and your life more easily from these cards. We have inflow with money, bear. We have an intuitive card, rope, and raw intention. An interesting thing that was coming out was as soon as I saw the card inflow with money, I was thinking back on one sentence that was popping up in my head, but I didn't say when I was going through the intuitive part. And it was around the time when I was talking about like where you may have started asking yourself all of these questions and why you are doing certain things. What is it all for? And at one point I also heard the sentence like, why am I working for all of that money? Or why am I making all of that money, or something like that? The word money was coming out in my head. And so I find it really interesting that that's also the keyword that is coming out on this card. And it seems to talk about you maybe coming to a realization, especially with this bear card too, which can talk about like financial security and feeling protected, feeling like you have it all covered. I feel like you may have gotten to a point where you were in a good place in a traditional, culturally accepted sense. It may have been on the outside like you have it all figured out, like everything is superb, like you should be the happiest person in the world because you are doing well. Maybe your career got to a point where it was really taking off, or maybe maybe you got certain success, and even if it wasn't necessarily like bringing in a lot of money for you, it may have just been giving you a lot of recognition or respect, admiration. Maybe you were getting a level of success and fulfillment from it where people were just, patting you on the back and talking about how amazing you are or how talented you are or something like that. But I do feel that there was this general feeling of safety, of security, like you are good, like you have things figured out, like you have things in place. But I also feel with this center card here that you got to a point where there wasn't anywhere else to go. Like you reached a certain point where you couldn't get any more out of the thing that you were doing. I feel like that's where you got to this point of realizing that you don't actually know why you are doing these things. Because I feel like even though on the outside it felt like everything was perfect, everything was good. Like I'm even looking at like the birds and the house and And it all seemed like it's good, but like what was really going on the inside, it's something completely different, and it's something that people weren't privy to. And this feeling of trying to find fulfillment and trying to find meaning beyond what everyone expects to be the be all end all. I feel like when you, I can't remember the beginning of that sentence, but I feel like when you get to that point where you have kind of, again, gotten everything out of this experience or this thing or this situation or this job or this relationship or whatever it is that you could possibly get out of it, you sort of plateau, and I feel like that's when that point of internal crisis can really occur. And it seems to be one of those things that like other people couldn't see, and maybe they still cannot see, that this feels like it's a deeply personal thing that you were dealing with, and maybe you haven't even shared that with anyone, maybe even with your closest people or your loved ones. That's why it's so funny to me that I was feeling this high priestess sort of energy from this card, because the high priestess energy is highly personal and secretive as well. And it's not to say that you are doing all of this because you are intentionally trying to hold people in the dark, or that you are wanting to do something behind people's backs. It's not that. It's just that I feel like you are still trying to figure it out for yourself as well. And because you are so in the midst of it, you may also have a hard time even explaining to people what it is that you are feeling, what it is that you are thinking of all of these things. And I feel like you don't necessarily have a plan either. You seem to just be in this feeling. That's what I actually feel with this raw intention as well. It almost seems like there was this divine illumination, this aha moment that you got, something that just shifted your reality. And it seems to be this clear connection to like your higher self or God or source or whoever you believe in, this higher power, this something bigger than you that you are trying to connect to or connect with more. Because I feel like that's really where you can find clues as to like what to do next, where to move from here. And I also feel that it is something that is just like a powerful feeling. It's not something that you can necessarily put into words. With this rope as well, it feels like it's a mess. Like it's this entanglement of feelings, of ideas, of thoughts, of hunches or these internal nudges. And I feel like you are still in the process of trying to untangle it. On the other hand, I feel that this rope is also talking about you maybe feeling a bit like tied down or tied up, like it's difficult to navigate your way through it, and it's difficult to make people understand how you can be unfulfilled or how you can feel like something is missing even if you seemingly have it all. And finally, I also feel like this rope is talking about just the whole process of you trying to untangle the mystery of these deeper questions, trying to untangle your thoughts, trying to make sense of what it is that you truly believe in, what it is that, like where your values lie now. Because again, I feel like you have done the conventional things. You have followed the steps that people told you to follow, that were meant to take you to happiness, to achievement, to success, to pride. I feel like those things may have done that for a time, but you have kind of outgrown that now. But on the other hand, it may also be that the things didn't ever actually give you true satisfaction, didn't ever actually give you a true feel-good energy. And so now you are trying to figure out what would be the thing that truly does give you this feel-good energy, that makes you feel like you are doing something worthwhile, that you are doing something with purpose. And I do feel that maybe this is more of a specific message, but that was something that I was feeling with these two cards at the beginning. Some of you may have actually decided to change your career direction. Maybe some of you have decided to like sell your business or exit whatever sort of business thing you were in, or maybe you were simply thinking about it. But it definitely feels like you are rethinking some of these things that that seem to be tied to security or safety, or that on the outside or from the outside look like it's the stable choice or the wise choice to hold on to these things. I hope that I'm making sense. Sometimes it's difficult to know. But anyway, those were the messages that I was feeling from these cards. If you recognize yourself, if you resonate with this energy, then definitely stay tuned, because now we are going to look at what sort of month ahead you are going to experience. And we're going to start off with the most prominent theme or life area or topic of focus for your next month. Okay, interesting. We have the Five of Swords as well as the Knight of Swords coming out. And I am going to point out the zodiac signs that are coming out as we go along, so that if you have any significant placements in those signs, that would be your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign. Specifically, if you have prominent placements in those signs, or if those signs are just very heavily saturated by planets in your birth chart, then it may be further confirmation that you are watching the right pile. So we have the Five of Swords and the Knight of Swords, which are both air sign energy. We have specifically Gemini and Aquarius coming out, but Libra could also be significant. As both of these cards are coming out as air sign energy, it seems to talk about the whole month being one that is very much tied to communication, tied to your thoughts, tied to being a lot in your head, and just having to figure things out, having to spend a lot of that mental, cerebral energy. See, we have the Five of Swords that is coming out as the sort of the main topic or theme of the month for you. And I know that this is sometimes a card that people don't really like the sight of, they don't like to see. It's not actually necessarily a scary card, but it can be a card that is somewhat challenging, especially if you are conflict averse or you don't like confrontation. But I do feel like it's not actually dramatic at all. Like it doesn't seem to indicate anything overly blown out or too dramatic or anything like that. It just seems like there are going to be instances where people don't understand you, or they don't understand what you are doing, and they may be going about trying to make sense of what you are going through in a more aggressive or hostile way. I feel like there could be these instances, especially with the Knight of Swords here, where there is like information incoming, or where there are questions incoming, where people may be trying to get to the bottom of what it is that you are doing, what it is that you are thinking of, where you stand, all of those things. I feel like there's a lot of anxiety, but it seems to stem from other people and not necessarily you. I actually feel like this Knight of Swords is talking about someone else that seems to be coming towards you, and maybe it's several someone else's. So it may not be this one concrete person, but this Knight of Swords feels like it's not your energy, and it seems to be coming in hard, asking questions, demanding answers, demanding clarity. And it may be that they have a very fixed way of seeing things. They may have a very clear-cut understanding of how things should be. And I feel like, again, that they seem to be coming at you with quite a lot of force and quite a lot of overbearingness, which I'm not sure is a word, but it just feels like they don't quite know how to contain what they feel and how unnerved they are by not being able to understand or comprehend what it is that you are doing, or why you are doing these things, or what you are thinking about, and all of that. Because again, remember we were talking about how this whole process that you are in seems to be one that is very personal, something that you are dealing with on the inside and that you don't quite know how to open up about or how to share with other people, because you don't have the answers yet, so you don't have anything to tell the people around you. But I feel like you are going to be put in these positions where people still want these answers from you, and it may trigger them, it may set them off or push them off the edge in a metaphorical way, when you don't have the answers for them. So it may be agitating to them, and it may cause these like head-butting instances, or just where maybe people lash out or they say hurtful things, maybe things that they don't actually mean, but they just don't know how to constructively channel that frustration that they feel because they can't make sense of you. And so I feel like again, I know that it sounds a bit unpleasant, but I feel like it's just something to be aware of, something to just know that it may potentially come up in several instances throughout this next month. You are going to be misunderstood by people, or when people may be pushing your buttons or just wanting clarity, wanting answers out of you. And with you not being able to give it to them, it may cause this like tense atmosphere or energetically loaded or electrical sort of energy or atmosphere. And I don't want you to be stressed or worried. I don't feel like it's going to be this like massive blowout or falling out. It just seems like it's going to be very difficult for you to make the people around you happy. Like, I feel like whatever you say, it's not going to be something that the people want to hear. And so yeah, that may be just the main thing to be aware of. Let's move on. Let's look at a potential challenge that you are going to face. Okay, we have Strength and the Queen of Pentacles with the High Priestess as the underlying energy. we got the High Priestess. So again, not surprised, because again, that energy was coming out here. Zodiac sign wise though, we have Leo, Capricorn and Cancer. So see, the main challenge or one of the challenges that you are going to face this month, I feel like is very clearly tied to this Five of Swords energy. And that is really just about staying strong, protecting your own peace of mind, especially because you are doing really important work for yourself, for your soul, for your own personal journey in this life. And of course, our journeys are tied to other people, and our relationships and connections are super important, and they are not something to be dismissed. But I just feel like as you are going through something so deeply personal, as you are trying to make sense of you, as you are evolving and as you are becoming this changed version of yourself. And I'm not saying that you are making this 180 and becoming a whole new person, but clearly we all evolve and we change over time, and you seem to be in one of those spaces on your life journey. And so you can't really bring other people into it. Keeping your head high and your back straight and focusing on saving your energy, saving your valuable resources, your mental capacity, all of it, saving it for the truly valuable things, especially with the Queen of Pentacles, this nurturing yourself and taking care of yourself. I feel like that is really the one of the challenges that you are going to have to overcome this next month, because we also have this High Priestess that is coming out as the underlying energy, and it seems to indicate that this whole challenge is arising from you going through this process of figuring out the mysteries or finding out some deeper truths, realigning to something that you didn't know before, you didn't realize before. So kind of leveling up, but wading through that darkness and going through that introspection and digging deep, that seems to be, again, the thing that maybe sets some people off. So that's why I feel like there is this connection between this Five of Swords energy, everything that we were talking about before, and how you kind of have to stay strong in the face of that, not abandon this process that you are in. And honestly, with 2 major arcana cards coming out, I feel like you couldn't really abandon it even if you wanted to, because it seems like it's something that is, again, coming directly from source energy, coming from the universe. It's something that you are meant to experience, meant to go through. Ultimately, this whole thing is going to be a flash in the pan. This whole like point in time where people don't understand you, or where they are sort of triggered by not being in the loop. It is ultimately just a flash in the pan, and you are going to be able to move past it. But for the time being, it feels like it's a very important journey that you have to go on. Now, let's also see a positive surprise or event that you are going to encounter. Okay. We have the Two of Wands that came out in reverse, with the Nine of Swords that also came out in reverse. We have Aries coming out with the Two of Wands, and Gemini with the Nine of Swords. So with the Two of Wands coming out in reverse, I actually, funnily enough, feel some sort of narrowing of options, or narrowing of a path. Like the Two of Wands, when it comes out upright, is all about the possibilities being endless, looking out into the big wide world and trying to see what else you should go after, what direction you should move in. It's all about this planning and looking ahead and coming up with the most suitable journey for you. But it's full of endless possibilities. This guy's literally holding the whole world in their hand. And so it can be a very overwhelming sort of energy. And with it coming out in reverse, I just feel like it's a welcome sort of narrowing, where you don't seem to be this overwhelmed by all of the choices, all of the options, or all of the possibilities now, where things start to become more focused, or like that there seems to become this more concrete of a direction that you are arriving at. And as a result of it, with the Nine of Swords coming out in reverse, you seem to be able to come out of this sense of like mental anguish or worry, or not being able to make sense of things, right? And I mean, the Nine of Swords is an energy of anxiety and worry and overthinking things massively. And it usually stems from not having a clear answer, being in this unknown liminal space. And so I feel like this is a very welcome message, saying that you are going to arrive at some sort of point where things start slowly but surely making more sense to you, where you are getting closer to the answers, getting closer to the truths. And I mean, I feel like you are not going to get all of the answers and all of the realizations within the next month, because we're not getting those sort of cards here, but you are moving in the right direction. And as a result, you are starting to feel more at ease and more at peace as well. So let's also see who or what will support you during this next month. Whoa. Okay, we have the King of Pentacles and the Knight of Wands is coming out as the underlying energy. So we actually have the counterpart energy now with the Queen and King of Pentacles. But zodiac sign wise, we have Taurus and we have more Sagittarius with the Knight of Wands. I feel like Sagittarius was coming out. No? So see, the King of Pentacles is making me feel that there may be a person around you. They may be your life partner, your spouse, your significant other, if you have one. Especially, again, because I feel like this Queen of Pentacles was clearly talking about you. And this feels like this person may be supporting you, or who is supporting you in this next month is your significant other. And don't get stuck in the gender aspects of these cards. It's this complementary energy that is coming through here. And I feel like, even if this person is not your significant other, they don't have to be necessarily. That's just what's coming through the strongest here. They just seem to be providing you with energy that is very encouraging, that is pushing you to stay true to yourself, that is encouraging you to be brave and to do what you need to do. The King of Pentacles, the other reason why I also love this is because he has so much patience. He has so much loyalty and so much understanding. And so, even though you are on this journey on your own and you may not be able to share too much with this other person, I feel like regardless, they are rooting for you with this Knight of Wands energy. They are wanting you to succeed. They are wanting you to come to these realizations, to have the best experience that you can have in this lifetime. And I feel like they are truly in your corner. So again, whether they are your spouse, your significant other, or whether they are your best friend, or your family member, your mentor, your therapist, whoever this person is to you, they truly have your back, and they are always someone who encourages you to go for it, who encourages you to be bold and to follow your dreams, to trust your inner voice, to trust your instinct. So I really, really love this King of Pentacles energy. But let's also look at the last question, which is all about the main takeaway from this next month that you are going to have. So let's see what you are going to be leaving the month with. Wow, okay. We have the Four of Pentacles and the Five of Wands as the underlying energy. Yeah, the Four of Pentacles is a card of Capricorn. The Five of Wands is a card of Leo. I am loving that we're getting the Four of Pentacles here, because this is saying that by the end of the month, or what you are going to be taking away from this month, is one of conviction and safety. But I feel like the safety is going to come from a much more sustainable or long-standing source. And I feel like it's going to come from you knowing, maybe not exactly what you are doing all of it for, but just knowing that you are doing exactly what you are meant to be doing. There is some sort of conviction, or knowing that it's all worth it, knowing what you truly have to protect, what you truly have to cherish, what you have to value. And with the Five of Wands here, it feels like you are unshakable, even in the face of confrontation or opposition, or people challenging you, people, again, pushing your buttons, or trying to cause drama, trying to cause conflict. And again, we're getting the Five of Wands and the Five of Swords, which are both like combative cards, but I don't actually feel this massive animosity here. It's actually mostly harmless, but again, it's just a bit like immature, is really what I feel like it's all stemming from. The people who seem to be coming at you, who seem to be demanding answers, or who are having a hard time understanding what is going on with you, and not realizing that you need this space for yourself, and you need this time to figure this personal process out on your own. Like it's just, they just don't know what to do with themselves. So it's not that they are malicious in any way, or that they have ill intentions. They are just maybe a bit like they are not there with their own journey, and they just need more time potentially to get to certain realizations. But yeah, regardless of that, I just feel like you are going to come to this point where you cannot be shaken, where it's a lot easier for you to tap into this strength that you are going to have to like kind of muster up, and and where you have to have this stiff upper lip, which may not come as easily to you in the beginning, but I feel like by the end of the month, it is going to be coming a lot more easily to you. And you're going to have a lot more of an easy time standing up for what truly matters. Pile number 3, we are going to close the reading out with a last piece of advice from Spirit so that you could get the most out of your month ahead. So let's see what they want you to know. Okay, let's see what we have. We have a splendidly dressed rabbit and the Cheshire Puss as the underlying energy. So with the splendidly dressed rabbit, I feel like Spirit is advising you to stay on track, to stay true to what you feel called to do, what you feel obliged to do. And I feel like that obligation is going to stem from deep within you. It's not going to come from anything external. And yeah, to not be distracted by what may be going on, or especially to not be distracted by other people's temper tantrums or anything like that, because the underlying energy is the Cheshire Puss. And this card is talking about becoming super confused or perplexed by absurd behavior or just absurd things that people say. And yeah, ultimately this card is talking about needing to stay true to yourself and listen to your own inner voice and follow your own inner compass. Because again, the input, the conversations and the thoughts, the ideas, the feelings of people around you, I feel like it's just going to trip you up. It's not going to give you any true significant meaning. Because again, I feel like it's stemming from a really childish or immature place, and where people themselves are so confused that they don't know what to do with themselves, right? So yeah, just be mindful of that, and try not to take what people are saying or how they are saying it too much to heart, because ultimately you know exactly what you need to do and you are on the right path. But that is it, pile number 3. I am going to leave it here. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. If you are still here, by the way, and if this reading spoke to you, leave me a little bear emoji down in the comment section so that I would know that you made it here and that you found some meaning from this reading. It would really mean so much to me. Also, I hope to see you back on this channel next Friday for some more messages, insight, and fun. But in the meantime, please take care of yourselves. Have an amazing month and take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.